If you Google social anxiety right now, you will find a whole bunch of like WebMDs, the Healthline, so many pages, so many websites about what social anxiety is. But from the medical standpoint, social anxiety is considered a disorder. It's considered an anxiety disorder. And I read that it's actually considered a phobia, which is crazy. A phobia is like an immense fear of something, right? But in the context of socialization, I feel like social anxiety being a phobia of socializing is a misconception in my opinion, because when I think of and what I've experienced with social anxiety is not the fear of interacting with people. It will be limited to that, saying that when you Google it, it's the fear of interacting with people. As someone who has experienced social anxiety, it's not about a fear of interacting with people. You can have conversations with people, and I'm sure other people out there who are experiencing social anxiety or have experienced social anxiety can also contest to it. That is not matter of what you're talking about. Is matter of who you're talking to, who you are interacting with. It's not that you are completely afraid to have a conversation with your mother or your brother or your friends. People who have social anxiety still have friends. They are still a part of society to a certain extent. I know that there are people out there who may have it to like a higher severity, but again, I'm speaking from my standpoint. So right off the bat, hearing it being a disorder, it blows me away, because I feel like it's not a disorder. Social anxiety is literally a manifestation of low self-worth. It's a manifestation of immense fear of being rejected for not saying the right things, not doing the right things. It's also hyper vigilance, feeling like you have to read the room, understand everybody, what they're going through, what they're talking about, and not be in a position where people are going to disagree with you, right? So that's the textbook definition of it, and that's, again, like I said, it's not, no. So I want to get into my experience with social anxiety. So growing up, I was always like a very sort of, I wasn't like bold and expressive as a kid, which is interesting because social anxiety to me is connected to a underactive solar plexus chakra. So I want you to stay with me because I'm going to be bouncing around. I have this book that I've been reading. It's really great. It's just addressing the chakra system from a psychological standpoint, and it just makes it so easier to put the chakras in place. But in this book, it has a table about when our chakras are developed based upon age group. And so for the solar plexus chakra, is developed during, I believe, 4 to 12 years old. Okay, no. So the solar plexus chakra, well, the Sanskrit terminology for the solar plexus chakra is Manipura. Its identity is ego. The age group is 18 months to 4 years old. And it's about belonging, membership of self, conscious self, autonomy versus shame and doubt. So 18 months to 4 years old is when the solar plexus chakra is being developed. Now, I can't account to what happened, what occurred during my life from 18 months to 4 years old, nor do I think I really want to know. All I know is that as a kid, I was pretty reserved. I definitely had personality. I had spunk, but obviously when it came to crowds, I was kind of shy and kind of meek. But that was kind of just like, just a kid being a kid. As I got older, I did not realize that I had social anxiety until I probably was maybe like a sophomore in college. That was when I really started to connect the dots, and I really realized that, okay, like, I discovered that I had anxiety in college as well. And I realized that my anxiety went beyond just hyper anxious thoughts, beyond feeling like I'm missing something, nothing is it's not going to work out, feeling like anxiety just feels like, the only way I can really describe anxiety is based on the feeling. For me, anxiety feels like your heart is just constantly pulsing. Like, anxiety feels like, it feels like a quick heartbeat, and it feels like fight or flight mode, and you're really in flight. It feels like the Mr. Krabs meme. So while I was like in college, like noticing about the anxious thoughts I would have the craziest thoughts like, oh, nobody likes me, nothing that I'm saying has value. In my mind, nothing would ever work out in my favor. It was just like a very kind of like cycle of self-sabotage. The social anxiety started to happen as my anxiety continued to get worse and unchecked. So, I was very like, again, anxious, all over the place, self-sabotaging a lot, feeling like I was being watched. And when I say feel like I was being watched, not like there was like a secret agent somewhere hiding or something like that, but no, feeling like other people were watching me, feeling like other people were judging me, just very hypercritical of myself. And so this is when the social anxiety started to manifest. I was a part of a particular group. I won't give any energy to that group or the name of it, but I was a part of a particular group in college, and in that group, I found myself almost like, I was social in some standpoints, but I found myself mute, especially when it would be time to sort of come up with ideas of things to do, activities, sort of just any form of like collective brainstorming and thinking. And while I would have all these thoughts and all these ideas and all these wonderful things to do, for the life of me, I could not say anything. And actually, I'm thinking back to even in like high school, like not really being vocal in terms of like interacting in the classroom and like raising my hand because of that immense fear of being seen. And that's like the stupid part about social anxiety or anxiety. Well, social anxiety is because it's like everybody fucking sees you already. Like, how are you really afraid for some people to see you? But you're not invisible, right? But you have been taught for so long to basically make yourself invisible because you're not wanted, to the fact where you would like you're willing to do anything to not be seen. So in those instances in college, just being in like those discussion-based classes, I just found myself like shrinking to the background. And even though I have great, amazing ideas, and it's not even about an idea or something needing to be sort of rewarded or affirmed or validated, it's more so a sense of expression, a sense of you are here, you are alive, and you are hearing something. You feel something, you feel a way. This ideology, this sentence, this word, this whatever is making you feel some kind of way, and you are in a space where you can openly express yourself and you don't. That has to do with low self-worth. That has to do with my words have no value. I cannot contribute to this space because I do not belong here. All these people around me are better than me. That's social anxiety. So, so in college, it manifested as me not really engaging in group discussion, and it got particularly worse while I was involved in a particular group with some of the things that we had to do with engaging with outside people and having conversations with complete strangers, I found myself extremely anxious to the point where, like, I would be like sick in a tizzy, because social anxiety, or anxiety in general, manifests in the physical body. And that's why it's so fucking important to notice what the hell is going on in your brain and getting it together, working on it every day, creating new patterns to stop it before it manifests in the physical body. Because how social anxiety manifests in the physical body, social anxiety can inhibit your speech. You can literally be lost for words. I've been in plenty of situations, important situations. I'm going to get to that. But I've been in plenty of situations where I needed to communicate and say stuff, but I could not get my words out. And I already do have like a slight speech impediment as it is, but I'm also very intelligent. So it's just like I know how to have conversations with people. But in those moments, because of the anxiety was so strong, it literally inhibited my speech. So because my body was in fight or flight mode, my brain, like the neurotransmitters, whatever is happening here, could not, like, it was not making a connection. The signal was frayed because I was afraid. And so just being in those situations where needing to say something, not saying anything, or if I am saying something, is not making any sense whatsoever, like complete gibberish. Because your body is literally in attack mode. It's like, oh my God, like, you're in attack mode. You're really in attack mode. And it's just like all your senses are delayed. So being in this group and already having to do very sort of, what's the word I want to use? Intimidating tasks to begin with, and having the social anxiety, being a part of this group made it 10 times worse. So time is going on. I'm just living. I'm literally drowning in my thoughts. By this point, I want to say I am maybe a sophomore or junior in college, and I'm not really making eye contact with people when I'm having conversations. When I'm walking outside, if I'm like out and about, my head is down. I'm afraid to look up. I'm afraid to look at people. I'm just afraid to be present in the world at this point. I would like catch public transportation, and I remember like I would be sitting like on a train or the bus and feeling like people are talking about me, feeling like people are sizing me up. So I would be afraid to kind of like look, you know how you just, when you on something, you just look around, you like seeing what's going on. I would be afraid to do that. I was just living in constant fear for absolutely no fucking reason. And I did not realize how bad it was until one night I went out with somebody that I used to be friends with, and we would frequent like the bars and stuff like that. And in the past, it wasn't really, I think in the past, because like I was like, in the past, I think just in the past, it wasn't that bad. So it was like when we would frequent these places, in the past, I would never really hyper fixate, even though I would like get up and I would be like, if I would get up to go to the bar, I'll be like very subconscious, feeling like, oh my God, all these people are staring at me. Do I look okay? Blah, blah, blah. But because like my social anxiety was going unchecked, it was just like, it had free range. Like, it was like, I'm here to fuck shit up in your life. You're not doing anything about it. So I'm just going to have a good old time just sabotaging every social, encounter you have. So one time I went to this bar with this friend, and I remember just being all dressed up, cute, or whatever. And we at the bar, and we're sitting in the chair, and my heart is just like pounding. I can't focus on anything. I can't focus on the conversation that she's having. You know, when you out with whoever you're out with, eventually, even though you are a part of this larger group, this larger space, eventually you kind of just settle in, and you kind of like almost, I look at it as like we create vortexes around ourselves. We create just like energy circles in which Now we are only connected within our own experience, and we are interacting with other things, but primarily we are here surrounded in this vortex. And if we choose to come up out of it and interact at a higher level, we can. But I couldn't even tap into our like individual kind of like bubble that we were in, because I was so consumed by what was going on outside of me. I'm also an empath, which I am, where I'm at right now in my life and in my spiritual journey. I feel like me being an empath is more detrimental than it is helpful, because at the end of the day, I know that I have a good heart, I know I have a pure heart, and I know that I'm always going to do whatever it is that I can do to help somebody else. But also at this stage where I'm at, it is hindering, because I get too caught up on the emotions and feelings of others, too caught up on environmental things. And a lot of times the things that you are becoming, trying to empathize or sympathize with people with, is shit that they already know that they not fucking doing the fake. So it's like, what am I sitting here feeling sorry for you by the inconvenience myself for you for some shit that you already know that you need to do? But I say that to say that because being an empath sometimes, or just being sensitive to just energies, it can be overwhelming sometimes, being in certain spaces and clubs and shit like that. It can be a lot. Or just in parties where there's a lot of people, there's a lot of energy swirling around. It can be a lot, because as an empath, as a highly sensitive person, you're literally picking up on everything. And so the really like the goal, or the balance of it all with being a highly sensitive person, is knowing how to be grounded in your energy. And that's one of the things that helped me move away from social anxiety. So here we are, we sitting here, she's talking, running her mouth, I'm trying to remember to breathe. Mind you, this is supposed to be a fun outing. We're literally at a club, we look good as shit. Like, this is just supposed to be a fun outing, interacting with my friends. But I can't, because I'm hyper fixating on everything around me. And so I just remember like just being so afraid to like turn around and like look at people and see what's going on. And the whole night in my mind, I'm like, people are talking about me, people are talking about me, people are judging me, people are, everything I would do, I'll pick something up, oh my god, somebody looking at me, did I do that dumb? If I would eat something, oh my god, like I'm chewing too fast, oh my god, like my hair is sticking up, like oh my god, like just like constantly criticizing myself because of a fear of what other people are thinking about me. So this went on for quite a while. I didn't start to be able to face it until I started my spiritual journey. And so by the time I started my spiritual journey, and I probably will do another video when I talk about that in more detail, but basically how my spiritual journey got started was because I was severely, like, I was just so overwhelmed. I was depressed. I was so anxious. I had anxiety from sun up to sundown. And I remember being at a point of just, like, wanting nothing more than just death. Like, all I wanted to do was just, like, die. Like, I just want to die. And I remember just saying to God, like, God, please just, like, take this away from me. Like, I just, like, take it away. And it was just like the next day, like I didn't have anxiety. Like, it wasn't like I didn't have anxiety anymore, but like the anxiety that I had the day before was non-existent that next day. And from that, I was like, okay, like I need to make a change, because I cannot live my life like this. And so how I began to work on my social anxiety was, one, talking more, making myself have conversations with people. The best ways to do that, I find, is like having like small talk with strangers. Like if you're outside at a market, like going to the store, at the gas station, like just having small conversations with people. Talking more on social anxiety, talking more on social media, recording more videos, actually sending voice messages, talking out loud to yourself out loud, but just getting comfortable with hearing your own voice, right? Because I feel like once you are able to hear your voice and you resonate and you identify your voice, is when you begin to find your power. So I was doing that. I was doing like a lot of just like grounding work, but a lot of it, what I was doing was shadow work. And so while I while I found that there were people that I could blame for my social anxiety. Like I could blame my hypercritical mother. I could blame the very sort of like biases that existed in my family. I could blame my older sister, who pretty much sort of, I don't want to say bullied me, but conditioned me to be a people pleaser, in a sense where if somebody is upset at me, then then my entire world is destroyed. If somebody's not talking to me, I have no value, I have no purpose. So these preconditionings from my childhood, I could point all types of fingers at people and say, oh, you're the cause of this, you're the cause of that. But it's invalid when you are standing in this world as a grown-ass person and you don't feel like your words have value. It's nobody that you can really not necessarily blame or sort of go after, but yourself, and ask yourself, why the fuck do I feel like I can't have a conversation with a stranger? Why do I feel like I can't show up and be in a space and feel empowered in myself? Why the fuck do I feel like people are criticizing everything that I do and everything that I say? And why am I trying to push myself to be something that I'm not? Free yourself. Free yourself is what they're saying. Free yourself. So, doing just like shadow work and really like just being in the seat of the observer and really like listening to the thoughts. So a lot of what social anxiety is less of what people are actually saying to you, and it's more of what you are perceiving. It's more of what, how could I put this? It's more of, I feel this way about myself, whether this is something that someone else in the past made me believe and feel about me, or this is some sort of judgment or whatever I have got going on. And because I feel this way about myself, I am projecting it on to somebody who is existing in the situation with me right now, and I'm misconstruing it as they are thinking this. Really, I'm thinking it, but I am not in control enough of my brain to know that it's the shadow talking, not me. So for instance, social anxiety, you out, right? You going out somewhere, I don't know, you got an outfit, you feel good about yourself, right? You going somewhere, you didn't think that you were about to end up in somewhere where it's going to be a whole bunch of people. You thought it was going to be something small, cute, a place where you can kind of control the energy. And when I really say control the energy, is like you feel like less people, there are not enough people to criticize you because there's not a lot of people in the room. Like you're equating the amount of criticism that you're going to get based upon how many people are present, how many people are around. And it even gets even deeper than that, because it could be like, for me, I felt my social anxiety the most in Black urban spaces because I grew up in the hood. I went to Black schools, and so growing up like that, it's like image and appearance is everything. And I feel like, I know I'm fucking beautiful. I know I'm the shit. I know I look good, but when it comes to like urban Black beauty, I do not fit the criteria. I don't fit the criteria. I don't wear weave. I don't wear designer clothes. I don't wear like the kind of like, like the stripper streetwear kind of, not even stripper streetwear, the stripper activewear kind of shit. I don't wear that. I don't have like a big butt. I just don't have those things. So naturally, when I'm in these like urban environments, I'm an outcast because I don't blend in. And so I would have a lot of anxiety entering those spaces because, when I know that, I'm sorry, but whatever, our people are very hypercritical. And I feel like growing up in the hood, growing up in like urban Black spaces, Black people are going to say what the fuck they want to say about you. They don't give a fuck. We don't, in those spaces, people don't have no regards to your feelings, what you're going through. You can be dirt poor, and that could be the reason why you only have one pair of shoes, but they're going to make you feel it every single day at school and remind you that you're fucking dirt poor. So with that doesn't change from urban black childhood to urban black adulthood. So in urban spaces, I would feel the most anxiety because it would be like, okay, here we go. Like, it's basically, it's a contest. It's a contest. And if you too cute, then you might gotta fight a bitch, right? So, okay, let's say that. So for me, it would be like I would be entering in a space, in these urban spaces, and I would, at this point, I don't feel good about nothing. I don't feel good about my hair. I don't feel good about my outfit. I don't feel good about my shoes. I don't think I'm ugly. And so this is where the projection part comes into play with social anxiety. Because mind you, again, these are your thoughts based upon what you experience. Again, either something that you experienced in your childhood, in your teenage years, maybe in your adulthood, or it can be a long-standing insecurity that you have never addressed in certain situations, people, things, words, whatever trigger it. So for me, because I feel like I don't fit the conventional black urban girl standard, and because that was it's kind of like, it still is kind of like my reality, essentially, because I'm a black bitch. You know, I'm not a suburban girl. My spirituality is not my, how can I say this? My spirituality is a part of my identity. It's not my whole identity. And so where I only exist in these spiritual conscious spaces. No, I'm all encompassing. I'm multidimensional. I'm multifaceted. And at the end of the day, I love me some black shit. I love me some black shit. I love I love seeing the hood niggas with the money. I love it. I don't like the ghetto wretched shit, but I definitely do like blackness. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like the hip hop. That hip hop part of being black is what I love. I like that. So I would never necessarily be that disconnected from the space to where I'm not being influenced by it anymore, right? So because of this, because I still exist in that realm, I still feel like I am affected by the beauty standards that exist within the urban black community. Not the bougie black community, not the fucking spiritual black community, but like the urban hip-hop black community that consumes us all, regardless of our sort of micro subsections that we have created within our culture, but we still are interconnected to this larger sort of way of living as a black person. So again, because I don't fit that criteria of all the things I had listed prior, if I'm here and I'm in this space and I'm around, say I can be like around, like, I don't know, like I'm chilling, I'm vibing, there's maybe a group of girls that do fit that criteria, and then maybe a group of guys that are watching them are like, that are like almost like close to me, whoever I'm with, the group of girls and the guys. And if I see the slightest smirk on a bitch face, I'm gonna be like, that bitch talking about me, that bitch talking about my hair, talking about what I got on. Or I'll be like, oh my God, like I will feel so small, feel so disempowered, feel so ugly around them, because I would feel like I don't look like that. So because I don't look like that, I can't feel comfortable in this space, because in my mind, I have to be this way to be accepted, keyword, accepted by every single person in this room needs to accept me in order for me to feel good to be here. That is what social anxiety is. Social anxiety at its core is a deep need to be accepted by this outwardly society, by whatever classification, whatever group. And not even that, it's really to be accepted by everyone in the entire world. But in every single place or setting that you are in, you have to be accepted. Why? Because you don't accept yourself. Why don't you accept yourself? Because your solar plexus chakra is blocked, is imbalanced, is underdeveloped. Okay? So we're going to get into, I'm just going to pull some keywords out of this, because like I said, I'm speaking from the heart, so I'm not even trying to get all technical. I am going to do my best to educate you who are watching this, but I definitely encourage you to do your own research on this. So first of all, so this is, I hope you can see it. Okay. So this is the root chakra. And really, it really starts with the root, okay? So our root chakra is our sense of survival, our sense of stability, earth, gravitation, home, career, money. Those are things that is connected to our root chakra, right? But our root chakra is also a sense of belonging, a sense of I deserve to be here, right? And this one, so this describes the root chakra more thorough. The right to be here, to find solidity in the first chakra, we must have an instinctual sense of our right to exist. Without the right to be here, few other rights can be reclaimed. Do we have the right to take up space? Do we have the rights to establish individuality? Do we have the right to take care of ourselves? The right to be here is the foundation of our survival and security. Still having trouble allowing myself to have such things as time to myself, pleasure, money, possessions, love, or praise goes against your rights to be here. Not being able to have something is like owning a bookcase without shelves. If there is no place in the system in which to store things and no effective process for obtaining them, then we find ourselves in a constant state of deprivation, even when help is offered. But I want to really focus on the right to be here. That is the root chakra, right? So if that is not intact, which more likely is not, because as I said in my last live video, if you didn't watch it, I'll put the link in the bio. But when it comes to the chakras are interdependent on each other. You cannot have an open root chakra without needing to work on your sacral and your solar plexus chakra. And if your bottom, you can have the bottom, like your lower chakras can be aligned, and there can be a misalignment in your top chakras. But each chakra is interdependent on another one. So when it comes to the solar plexus chakra, which I feel like is the root connected to social anxiety, when there is an imbalance in your solar plexus chakra, if it's underactive, I'm getting excited. If it's underactive, I feel like you're going to have social anxiety, right? But if it is if it's imbalanced, not imbalance, but imbalance, in addition to your root chakra being in a healthy standing, social anxiety can't touch you. Social anxiety, what is it? I don't even understand the concept of it. It makes no sense, right? So if you don't feel like you belong naturally, that you deserve to take up space, because a lot of us feel like we don't. Because for me, with my social anxiety, a lot of, like I said, I named some things from my childhood, but a lot of it was never feeling accepted, never being like really being like affirmed, and always being like criticized. Like I was never enough. And even when I would do things that were right, like, you know, making good grades or whatever, it was like, that's what you should do. So it wasn't like most of my actions were rewarded as it should be with children, because at some point, you know, you do have to develop a reward system with your children. Not to an extent where they are only, where they become dependent on being validated, but there just has to be a balance, and there was an imbalance for me. So that's why it was just like, you know, a deep need to be validated. In order for me to be validated, I have to be accepted. In order for me to be accepted, I have to fit the criteria. I have to fit this mold. I have to read these people and understand what they want, what they need. In order for me to be celebrated, I have to push to them a certain narrative for them to say, yeah, you're right, you belong, wow, you're so cool, why you're so this, why you're so that, right? Fucking crazy. But the solar plexus chakra is our right to act. It is our right to move. Most people follow in the footsteps of others, afraid to innovate, afraid to be free. When the right to act is restricted, will and spontaneity go with it, and our vitality decreases. This does not imply that the third chakra profits by senseless or whimsical acts, but that we do need freedom to develop our inner authority. The right to be free. The right to be free. That is the solar plexus chakra. So if you are experiencing social anxiety, it's because you don't feel like, one, that you belong, and two, you don't feel like you have the right to be free. And you don't feel like you have the right to be free because you do not feel comfortable in your essence as a person. You feel like what you think, what you feel, how you look is not good enough because you are constantly basing it upon on what somebody else has to say about you. But once you cut that shit off and you start realizing and really start looking at people, like, if there's somebody or something that's like a particular person or maybe a group of people or a certain identity that you are intimidated by, start looking them people dead in their fucking eyes and not picking them apart to judge them or size them up, but look at them and realize that at the end of the day, they are human beings just like you, right? Just like you. Or that this situation isn't even something for me to feel anxious about. And so now, like, if I do have, like, and I don't even identify with social anxiety as it's something that I have, or anxiety. I have anxiety. And in the past, I wish that while I'm happy that I was able to identify what it was, I'm kind of like frustrated that I didn't see it as something that I was experiencing rather than something that I possessed. Because to say that I possess anxiety is crazy. To say that I possess social anxiety means that it just means that I don't have control over this kind of thing, or that I am willfully inviting this sort of energy, this sort of thought, this sort of activity into my life, when at the end of the day, I fucking don't, because anxiety sucks. It sucks so bad. Social anxiety sucks so bad, right? So don't claim it. See it as an experience, but also get to the root. What is it? Why do I have such low self-esteem? What is my self-worth rooted in? Why do I need to be validated? Why do I need somebody to affirm me in order for me to feel comfortable while expressing my thoughts and my feelings? Why do I feel like I have to know a whole bunch about somebody in order to feel comfortable around them? Also, with social anxiety is also how can I say this? An inability to not be liked. That's another part of social anxiety, so that's why people who have social anxiety refrain from. It's hard for you to be in a group setting. It's hard for you to interact with people because it's like, I want you to like me so bad, and because I'm so fixated on you liking me, I do not know what to say. I don't know what to do to grasp your attention so early in a very quick conversation. So I'm just going to shut down because I can't manipulate you to like me, because I can't read the energy. Because I'm telling you, as somebody who has social anxiety, it's not like that with everybody. For me, I wouldn't say I would find the weakest person in the room, but for me, I would gravitate to the least intimidating people in the room, and I would feel safe with that. But it's just like, why the fuck do I can't talk to this person right here? What do you got going on? Who the fuck is you? That's another thing to start doing when you got social anxiety. When you start being like, who the fuck is you? Start asking yourself that. Who the fuck is that person? Who are they really? Who are they? Nobody. I don't give a damn if it's the queen, the pope, whoever. Nobody. They're not God. Are they God? No. They're not God. And even if they were God, why would you feel intimidated by God? Why would you not feel welcome and at peace if it's God? It's not God. So pipe down. There's another part in this book talks a little bit more about it. Beneath the surface of the body churn the emotions. The emotions are the clothing of our feelings. When we experience a strong emotion, we feel our aliveness and often identity with the feelings involved. Even our language makes this identification. I am angry. I am scared. This is the identity that says, I feel, therefore I am, and whatever I feel is what I am. Some people identify their main sense of self. Some people identify their main sense of self in this way. I'm about to go punch him. The second chakra then is our emotional identity, and its job is self-gratification. Emotion emerges from our physical body and yet brings in an added dimension. We have to feel our bodies in order to feel our emotions and learn to interpret their messages. Emotional identity expands the experience of the body and gives a dimension and texture, connecting us to the flow of the world. The key word in this that I really want to focus on is self-gratification. Self-gratification. What do you need to do for you to feel good about you? Not based upon how society will better see you, how you can be more likable, how you can be more digestible, but what do you need to do? What do you need to repair that has happened to you for you to feel good about yourself? And for you not to seek outwardly validation from other people, right? I feel like once we are able to identify that, as well as once we are able to accept that we deserve to be here, that we deserve to take up space, and that we deserve to simply exist. Because when you have anxiety or social anxiety, you are depriving yourself from life's experiences. You are literally depriving yourself from that. You are blocking your blessings. You are blocking pleasure. You are blocking lessons. You are blocking so many things by inhibiting yourself from going after what you want, having conversations with people, taking up spaces in certain things. You're blocking yourself. All because this fear is so prevalent, and the fear is the fear of being seen, the fear of being rejected, the fear of being wrong, the fear of being imperfect. Those are the 4 fears, in my opinion, that are the root cause of social anxiety. Once you start to address these 4 fears, in whichever way you decide to do so, what I'm telling myself and what I be telling the people around me is, do the opposite of that shit. Fear tells you whatever that intrusive negative thought, that shadow thought tells you, do the opposite. Do the opposite. Because if your first thought, because what I've learned about that intrusive low vibrational thought is that it only comes after you make a conscious decision on your own. It only comes after you make a decision about something that you feel empowered in. You saw the dress, you liked the dress, you tried the dress on, you brought it. Now it's time to go out, and then you feel like, oh, I don't really think that, oh, this dress don't fit right. I don't have nothing to go with it. My hair don't. But that wasn't the same. You wasn't feeling none of that when you was in the dressing room with it on. You didn't feel any of that when you purchased it. You feel that way because people are now going to see you. They're going to see your decision that you made. How we show up. Everything that we do is a personification of our decision-making skills. Everything. I decided to put this on today. That was a decision that I made. Everything that we do is based upon our decisions. We make these decisions. But the shadow self comes in, and the shadow self is, how dare you have the audacity, the authority, the willpower to believe in yourself enough to make a decision and not consider or think about what everybody else would think. How? So, where I'm at now with it is that I would be lying if I say that I don't experience social anxiety every now and again, because I do. Yesterday, I was going to a friend's event, and I was like, I don't know who's going to be here. I don't know what I'm going to walk into. I know I really like this person. I know this person likes me. But I don't know what the environment is going to be like. I don't know. Then I countered it and I said, I'm about to have a good ass fucking time. We about to have a ball, yo. It's going to be so much fun. I look good. I feel good. Therefore, I'm going to have a good time. And it was just that I had a good time. So what I'm learning about it is saying the complete opposite of it, but also since I've been reading this book, really exploring and attaching myself to my right to be here, my right to take up space, my right to be happy, to be loved, to be outside. And when I say to be outside, I mean to be in the existence of this world that we live in, to not hide or isolate myself out of fear of what other people are going to think or what they're going to say. Because I'm robbing myself of life. So that's that on that. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Like I said, you can definitely leave your thoughts, your opinions, your feelings, all that in the comments. You can send me a DM on Instagram. You can email me, whatever works out. But yeah, I love you, and thanks for watching this video.